Today, I've got a fun little video for you because we're going to talk about the types of formations most players out there do not run in Madden 25. And those are going to be your truly spread out formations in which we're going to be able to bomb any coverage shell for a one-play score, utilizing just 3 routes, which allows us to have 2 for pass protection or for ad-libbing underneath against the coverage based on what they're calling. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell, get out your notepad, and let's get after it. So our concept today really requires 2 players, and they need to be spread out receivers on each sideline. Now, our one-play touchdown route is going to line up on the wide side of the field, so call your formation accordingly based off of which player you want to run this route. For the purpose of today's video, I'm going to take you guys into a formation I honestly ought to use a little bit more of, known as the gun deuce, found in the Seattle Seahawks offensive playbook. Although I'll show this concept to you out of other formations here towards the tail end of the video, so you can understand how this applies as a universal conceptual tip. Now, the play that I'm going to break down to you here is corner goes flat, although you could really hot route this out of whatever you want. Keep in mind, I talked about how important the check down routes can be for this with your other 2 receivers. So I'm going to utilize this because of the unique route to the right tight end on this play. Now let's start off with everybody's favorite coverage shell, which is a cover 4. It doesn't matter whether they're playing true cover 4 drop or they're playing a blitz with a cover 4 shell behind it. This is the #1 coverage that you're going to face online. Now our setup is going to be very, very simple. What we need is the outside receiver on the far side of the field to be on a post route. We need whatever second receiver is on that side. This could be a tight end, or this could be, if you were in a gun normal type formation, a slot receiver. We need them on a streak route. And then the only other thing that we need on this play is the comeback route on the short side outside receiver. Now, this allows us to freestyle with our running back and our right tight end in this particular instance. If we feel like there's pressure coming, we can block the running back or the tight end. But I'm going to utilize the tight end due to the fact that he's on one of the best check down routes in the event that we don't feel like we have time for this. So that's why I choose a play based off of the other routes rather than the ones that I can hot route. Okay. So the other thing that you could do with your check down combo, just for what it's worth, is put your tight end on a curl, custom stem it down, keep the table route, and set up the route combo just the same. And that'll allow you to kind of throw this little hitch underneath or whatever. But the cool part about this play is that we have one of the best spacing based zone beaters in the game. And what I mean by that is that it's not just a one-play touchdown if you get time. It's also very, very easy to beat the zone coverage earlier in the progression if the pocket is caving around you or the loop rusher is getting home or there's a shed. Because the cool thing about this play is that the outside receiver on the post is going to have much more room to work because he's lined up so far to the outside, but also because we're utilizing this tight end driving vertical down the seam to pull the deep defender. You'll also notice that this post route breaks in behind the hook zone tier, which is more often than not where the user ends up being. So we're going to be able to throw this ball, if they don't user it, earlier in the play and actually throw this ball in the middle of the field. But the truth is, we're going for the gusto on this type of play. So what I'm going to do is set up more of a max protect style, and we're going to talk about the comeback route. Now, the cool thing about the comeback route is that it's the best pull down route in the game, and it's going to be able to pull down the outside zone on the short side of the field. And it doesn't matter if it's a cover 3 where that outside defender is in an outside third, or a cover 4 where he's playing only 25% of the field. This route is so good because it's not only going to serve as a pull down route. As you see right here, it pulls down the outside corner, allowing us to throw the one-play touchdown over the top. But it's also extremely useful when your opponent is shading their coverage down or playing hard flats. This means that the sideline defender underneath doesn't sink deep enough, and we can actually not only pull down the outside third, but we're able to beat it with this throw. So the really cool thing about this is that this route can serve as the one-play touchdown springer, basically helping his teammates out, or in the event that you have sideline spacing, you could actually throw this route earlier in the progression as well. So you're seeing that this play or this concept is so simple to run because we actually have options outside of the one-play touchdown bomb. Now, I want to go back to that cover 4 defense very quickly because there's something very unique about this that you guys need to see, which is part of the reason that this bombs the cover 4 so effectively. And that is that our tight end on the left is able to drive both safeties. traditionally, when you talk about a vertical pull route in Madden, you're talking about a guy that's pulling one zone, an outside defender so a corner can break underneath of it, or a safety so you can throw the post early. But I want you to watch as I snap this ball how the safety on the right also is respecting Cole Kmet's depth. And that's part of the reason this is such an easy one-play touchdown against the cover 4 shell. The other thing that you have to your benefit is the ability, obviously, to, in a pinch, go ahead and just make this a 3-route combo. Now, you see right here in this example, I can't unfortunately float the running back to the other side. That would be pretty awesome. But with this particular formation, I could, if I wanted to, put this tight end into a wing or a fullback role to give me an extra blocker on the left and the right. But again, you're going to see that Cole Kmet drives the safety on the right, and this allows the simplest of throws here to our post route for the one-play score. Now, if you're enjoying this video, again, make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the channel. I'm dropping content Monday through Friday in the mornings with shorts in the afternoons to help you get better at Madden 25, as well as some college football content as well. But if you guys really enjoy this and you want more, make sure you guys check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. Since the drop of college football in Madden, I have over 310 vault tips on both games combined, dedicated to what players are doing, the most popular trends in the game, or the meta that pros run, breaking down how it works, most importantly, how to counter it when you face it online. Also have full offensive and defensive game plans available to you. These are schemes that are curated for you with audibles, AP setups, and all the setups to beat every single coverage, or from a defensive perspective, stop the run and the most popular offenses that you face online as well. In addition to this, you guys get access to my Discord server with over 2,000 members of the Gridiron Game Plans community, helping one another day in and day out. And we have lab sessions in there every Wednesday night at no additional charge. You might pay $50, $60, $100 for 1 hour with a Madden Pro to learn the same stuff that you can get absolutely free answered to you in our lab sessions. And we run them every single week. There is no better deal in the tip space, that I assure you of. So make sure you guys go check it out. $9.95 a month unlocks Madden, $14.95 if you want to unlock Madden and college football at the same time. Go check it out. So obviously I just showed you this concept out of the deuce formation. This is a cool little formation, but I know a lot of you guys probably are thinking, I don't really run ace personnel. Well, that's okay, because right now one of the prevailing metas in the community is spread 2x2 doubles. And you can still achieve the same result from this. So let's go ahead and break down this concept here. Now, again, the key to this is to find a play that you really like in terms of your check down routes. Now, right here, I'm just going to go ahead and run this. This is not probably what I would call, we'll get into, what to look for here in a moment. But I want to show you that this same concept, again, when you spread out this concept, this has traditionally been a bunch or a tight compression type concept where you have a streak in a post route and then a corner. This is better from a spread set in my estimation, because what this allows you to do so easily is utilize that post route to bomb the coverage. And you're going to see that this safety here is always going to drop to the vertical depth of the slot opposite on this. Now, I wanted to break down this formation because this is really subtle, but it makes a huge difference. You notice here in this example how DJ Moore is getting jammed. This doesn't allow him to get that far ahead of Keenan Allen, which means that this safety stays lower. You may notice that the dynamic of this breakdown was much different in that I had to throw this ball more to the sideline to make a diving catch. Now, I want to kind of illustrate this against a tight end in this role. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to motion Everett across the formation so he lines up as this wing. Now, I'm going to modify this only a little bit, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically set the route combo up kind of like the deuce formation, but again, we don't have a tight end on the right. The reason this is important is because slot receivers get jammed by slot corners. Tight ends do not get jammed off the line. So the free release to Everett changes the dynamic of how this play works. And you see now we're right back to this being the rat catch one play score, provided we make a better throw than the one we just did here on this play. So again, it's important that when you guys pay attention to what formation you're calling, if your streak is getting chucked, this can disrupt the timing. Now, fortunately for you guys, most players do shade their coverage down to hard flats, so you're not gonna have to deal with that type of dynamic. The other thing that you may notice with this as well is that sometimes players will set zone drops. If your opponents do set their zone drops for purple zones, you will never have to worry about chuck animations, and you'll be right back to being able to run this with a slot receiver running this role rather than having to worry about DJ Moore getting pressed. So now that zone drops are set, watch how DJ Moore can fly right down the middle, and we're back to this play basically working the same way as it did prior. Again, now we have the rat catch touchdown. They have to switch stick this. And this is, of course, going to bomb cover 4 as well as the cover 3 defense as well. Now, the cool thing about this too is that when you talk about so many of the most popular blitzes in the game, a lot of players do like to go ahead and basically turn their defense into a cover 4 shell behind. Basically, players, when they run their loop blitz metas, they tend to change their coverage up on the back end. This has been a theme that I've talked about a fair amount over several videos here on the channel over the last couple of months. So what I want to do here is I want to go into a loop blitz meta. It doesn't matter if it's a crossfire or an edge loop. Basically, everybody that runs this type of defense does some sort of setup like what you're going to see right here. You're essentially going to see a loop blitz setup like this. Now, the original play art for this blitz was a cover 3, but what they'll do is they will modify this by putting their safeties into quarters, their outside corners into quarters. They have one hook zone and then the 2 hard flats. And this is really quite popular. You see this all the time out there. And the really cool thing about this type of combination is that we know how to block the loop, but we also have broken down so many of those quick checkdowns that we could put to use as well. So we try to block the loop. If we don't feel comfortable or we get shed, boom, we have our little check down over the middle. But in the event that we get time against the loop, you're going to be in a spot where you're going to be able to bomb this coverage. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and just kind of simulate that. We'll basically put that loop blitzer into a spy to simulate that we pick this up. And what you're going to see is that when you pick up these types of blitzes, you're right back to this being the 1-play score. So you're able to throw this up and pick up basically the 1-play touchdown. Keenan Allen, not the fastest player in the game, but I think you guys understand. So makes this really, really simple. And then, of course, you guys could go as far as to set this up if you're still struggling with the loop blitz out of a play action play. So what I'll do here is, yeah, we don't have the best checkdowns in the world here, but let's say for whatever reason, we know we're getting crossfire blitzed or loop blitzed, and we want to dumb out the rush. We know that they're setting up the cover 4. We got the crossfire. I don't want to deal with it. So I've called a base play action play. We're going to put the same hot routes on the field, and we'll go ahead and run it like this. Now what ends up happening, the loop blitzer dumbs out, runs into the middle, gets pancaked, and look at all that turf for us to throw. I held the ball a long time there. I should have gotten rid of the ball earlier, but you saw right there how the loop blitzer dumbed out while everything that we just taught in this video was still executed to a T. The only difference being that we called a play action play based out of a play action play, and rather than this guy crossfire blitzing, he instead ran right into the guard and got smoked by a double team. If I step up, obviously you're going to see here at the second level, we still have the tight end driving the coverage. Keenan Allen is open now, and he's open forever on this play. So make sure you guys install this in your offense. This is a great counter to the way players play the game. Of course, if you can do this out of a ace formation as well, this is going to allow you to have the benefit of the run game against those lighter defenses such as the 1-4, the 3-2. But I'm going to get up out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel, drop comments below, help this video perform in the algorithm. I appreciate you guys. Let's keep this wave running. I'll be short this afternoon, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab and good luck.